Hello learners, welcome to Success Industrial Training Solutions. Before we move into calculations and analytical testing, let us first understand an important basic concept in the cleaning validation, which is known as visible residue limits or VRL studies. In pharmaceutical manufacturing, after cleaning any equipment, the first check we perform is visual inspection. This means we look at the equipment with our naked eyes to confirm that no visible residue is available. The visible residue limit study helps us scientifically define how much residue can be present on an equipment surface before it becomes visible under defined conditions. In simple words, a VRL tells us the minimum amount of the residue that can human eye can detect. These studies are important because visual inspection is a mandatory GMP requirement and it is also the fastest and most economical way to identify cleaning failures. If residue is visible, it clearly indicates that cleaning is not effective and there is no need to proceed further with analytical testing. So in this class, we will understand what VRL is, why it is important, how VRL studies are performed, and how they support cleaning validation as a supplementary acceptance criteria. Now let us understand what exactly the visible residue limit or VRL means. The visible residue limit is defined as the maximum amount of the residue that can remain on an equipment surface after cleaning, which is still not visible to the naked eye when observed under predefined inspection conditions. Here, two points are very important. First, the residue should not be visible without using any instrument. Only normal human vision is considered. And second, the inspection conditions such as lighting, distance, and surface type must be clearly defined and controlled. The main purpose of the establishing a VRL is to create a scientifically justified visual inspection limit. This means we are not relying on the guesswork or personal judgment. Instead, we support visual inspection with study data. VRL also act as a supplementary acceptance criteria during cleaning validation. While analytical methods detect very small residue level, VRL helps in identifying obvious or gross contamination quickly. In addition, VRL ensure that trained personnel are capable for visually detecting residue, making visual inspection a reliable first line check before moving to detailed analytical testing. Now let us understand why visible residue limit studies are important in the cleaning validation. First of all, VRL act as a quick and low cost screening tool. Visual inspection does not require any instruments, chemicals or laboratory testing. This makes it is fastest way to check equipment cleanliness immediately after cleaning. Secondly, VRL study helps in early detection of the gross cleaning failures. If residue is clearly visible on the equipment surface, it indicates a major problem in the cleaning process, such as improper cleaning steps, insufficient rinsing, or operator errors. This allows corrective action to be taken immediately. VRL is also very useful for operator training. By using VRL study samples, operators are trained to understand what level of the residue can be seen and what a clean surface should actually look like. This improves consistency and confidence in the visual inspections. Most importantly, visual inspection is a GMP requirement. Regulatory guidelines clearly state that equipment must be visually inspected after cleaning. VRL studies scientifically support this requirement and strengthen the overall cleaning validation program. So, VRL does not replace analytical testing, but it plays a very important supporting role in ensuring equipment cleanliness. To correctly determine the visible residue limit, it is important to understand the basic principles that affect the residue visibility. First factor is nature of the residue. Some residues are dark in color, sticky or crystalline, making them easy to see. Others may be colorless, transparent or tiny spread which make them very difficult to detect. VRL studies focus specially on residue that are hardest to see and these are represent the four worst case conditions. The second factor is surface type and surface finish. Residue visibly can vary greatly between shiny stainless steel, dull metal surface, glass or plastic. For example, residue may be more difficult to see on the polished stainless steel compared to rough surface. The third factor is lighting conditions. Visibility depends on light intensity, angle of light, and type of the lighting, such as daylight or artificial white light. Poor lighting can hide residue, while proper lighting improves detection levels. Finally, observer vision and training also plays an important role. Different people may see residues differently. That is why VRL studies involve trained observers and standardized inspection conditions to reduce subjectivity. So, VRL determination is influenced by residue properties, surface characteristics, lighting, and the observer, and all of which must be controlled during the cleaning validation studies. Now let us look at the how a visible residue limit study is performed, starting with the preparation step. First, we select representative equipment surface, and this surface should match the actual product contact materials used in the manufacturing. Common example includes stainless steel, 316L, glass, and plastic surfaces. Next, we select the worst case product for the study. Worst case does not always mean the darkest or stickiest residue. In VRL studies, the worst case is usually the most difficult to see residue, such as light colored or transparent residues become these challenge the visual inspection process. After product selection, we prepare standard test panels. These panels are flat, clean and polished surface with known surface area. For example, 10 by 10 centimeters. Using standard panels helps to ensure consistency and reproducibility of the study. All panels must be thoroughly cleaned before use to ensure there is no background contamination that could affect the results. And this preparation step is very important because proper surface and product selection ensure that the VRS study truly represent real manufacturing conditions. After preparation of the test panels, the next step in the VRS study is residue application. First, solutions or suspension of the selected product or active ingredients are prepared at known and controlled concentrations. This ensures that the exact amount of the residue applied to the surface is scientifically traceable. Next, a known quantity of the residue is actually applied to each panel, and this is usually done using a micro pipette so that very small and precise volume can be deposited on the surface. The applied residue is then spread evenly over the defined surface area of the panel, and uniform spreading is important so that visibility depends only on residue amount and not on uneven distribution. After application, the panels are allowed to dry under controlled conditions such as defined temperature and time, and this simulates how residue would actually remain on the equipment surface after processing and drying. By carefully controlling concentrations, volume, and drying conditions, we ensure that the VRL study results are accurate, reproducible, and scientifically valid. Once the residue has been applied and dried, the next step is visual inspection procedure, which is the core of the VRL study. First, lighting conditions must be standardized. Typically, white light with an intensity of about 1000 to 2000 lux is used as recommended by cleanroom inspection standards. The light is directed at the surface at approximately 45-degree angle to enhance visibility and residues. Next is the inspection distance. Observer usually inspect the surface from the distance of 25 to 50 centimeters. And this distance reflects normal vision inspection conditions under routine operations. Another important aspect is observer qualification. The inspection is carried out by multiple trained observers who have normal or corrected vision. Using more than one observer helps to reduce subjectivity and improves reliability of the results. During inspection, each observer records pass or failed results, including whether the residue is visible or not under the defined conditions. This standardized inspection procedure ensures that VRL determination is consistent, repeatable, and acceptable from the regulatory point of view. Now, let us understand how the visible residue limit is finally determined. During the VRL study, panels with different residue levels are inspected by all trained observers under the same controlled conditions. The VRL is defined as lowest amount of the residue per unit surface area that is consistently detected by all observers. For example, if all observers are able to see the residue at level of 2 micrograms per square centimeter, but they are not able to see it at 1 microgram per square centimeter, then VRL is established as 2 micrograms per square centimeters. The key word here is consistently. This means that the residue must be visible to every observer, not just one or two. This ensures that VRL value is reliable and not dependent on individual eyesight differences. Once finalized, this VRL value becomes an scientifically justified visual detection limit for the product surface combinations. Now let us see how the visible residue limit is actually used in the cleaning validation. First, VRL is used as the supplementary acceptance criteria. In most cases, analytical acceptance limits are much lower than VRL. This means analytical methods can detect residue that are far below what are the human eyes can see. And however, visual inspection act as a first line screening tool to quickly identify obvious cleaning failures. Second, VRL is widely used in the routine equipment inspections. After cleaning and before equipment use, operators visually inspect all product contact surfaces, and if any visible residue is observed, the equipment is considered unacceptable regardless of analytical results. Third, VRL plays an important role in training and qualification of the personnel. VRL study samples can be used to train operators on what visible residue looks like and to periodically assess their visual inspection capability. So, VRL supports daily GMP operations by strengthening visual inspection and improving overall cleaning control. Now, let us talk about the limitations of this method. First, it's important to know that this is not a replacement for proper analytical methods. It can only detect residues that are visible to the eyes, so anything below that might be missed. Second, the results are subjective. Factors like lighting in the room, type of the surface, and even the observer eyesight can affect what you see. And finally, this method doesn't give any numbers or measurements. It can tell you if something is visible, but it cannot quantify chemical residues. So while it's useful for the quick check, it cannot replace thoroughly testing using analytical techniques. Finally, let us look at what regulator expect when it comes to the visible residue limits or VRLs. First, you need to document your VRL determination study. This includes explaining why you selected certain products, especially the worst case ones that are hardest to clean. Next, record the type of the surface, how it was prepared, and the inspection conditions like lighting, distance, and viewing angles. Also, it's important to show that the people inspecting the surface are qualified to do so. And lastly, don't forget to include the VRL in your cleaning validation master plan or CVMP so that everything is officially part of your validation process. Basically, regulators want a clear documented process showing that visible residues are properly monitored and controlled during the cleaning validation studies.